some experts have said that President Cyril Ramaphosa may also lean heavily on climate change during his SONA 2022 address. They believe climate change will have a significant impact on the private sector and that directors and business leaders should view climate risks and opportunities as more than a reporting or disclosure matter. We're joined to reflect on this evening's speech, where this aspect is concerned, at least, by the executive head of business development at the World Wildlife Fund, Justin Smith. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Perhaps let's just remind ourselves of what we saw at COP26 last year, and some of the commitments that were made, especially where funding South Africa was concerned with our move away from coal. Are we ready?
Good afternoon, and yes, you're quite correct. I think COP26 in Glasgow was incredibly significant for South Africa. Besides us obviously improving our nationally determined contribution or our commitment, there was an $8.5 billion just transition financing packaging that was agreed. And that finance package, funded by the EU, Germany, the UK and others, is really to do exactly that. Change the nature of our energy system from being very coal-based into a kind of cleaner energy space into the future, but to try and make sure we do it in a way that also involves the interests and the opportunities of communities and businesses that are currently part of the coal supply chain. And that really, sort of centrals around Mpumalanga, but other parts of the country as well. So that, this is something that's not just an environmental issue for South Africa, but also very much around livelihoods, around the future competitiveness of our economy as well, where issues like trade barriers, tariffs, due to the carbon intensity of our current economy, could become a really big challenge for us within the near future.
While we appreciate that this is not something that's going to happen overnight, but is South Africa ready to transition from coal to renewable energy sources?
I think we've seen the last few years that there's been a really significant uptake in renewable energy opportunities in South Africa. There's been some stops and starts around the independent power producer programs, but the cost of renewables in South Africa is way cheaper than coal or any other energy source at the moment. There's a lot of service providers and partners who are obviously interested in using our solar and wind resources. So I think the future trajectory is there. There's more work that needs to be done around the storage aspect, but renewables are still a massive, massive opportunity for us, and I think we can definitely start that move towards transitioning our economy. We know that there's also opportunities around things like electric vehicles around the world that are happening. We've got quite a significant fuel dependency at the moment around energy, but we also have a vehicle production sector in South Africa that will need to shift at the same time away from the kind of current combustion system. So we really want to emphasize that this is about the opportunities that we have in South Africa. It's about using our natural resources. It's about looking at small business development and supply chains within these different new spaces as well. So I think we are ready, and I think government's doing a really good job through structures like the Presidential Climate Change Commission to get broad stakeholder engagement, to bring different ministries together as well in terms of implementation. Just this week we had a sustainable finance team appointed, headed by ex-Reserve Bank and ABSA person Daniel Manele as well. So there's lots of movement, and I think we're hoping that there'll be a bit more detail possibly spelt out tonight within the State of the Nation address as well.
Thank you very much, Justin Smith, for availing yourself this afternoon.